Welcome to your daily stock market summary from MarketSnap. Markets powered higher again today, with the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow all closing at fresh record highs, extending one of the most resilient rallies in recent memory. The S&P 500 climbed 0.77% to 7501, the NASDAQ jumped 0.88% to 26,635, and the Dow added 0.75% to finish above 50,000. What stands out is how this move is being driven by a narrow group of AI-related names, while broader participation remains light. The NASDAQ in particular has now rallied roughly 27% from its March lows, powered almost entirely by semiconductor stocks riding AI earnings momentum. On the winners list, AMD surged more than 3%, while Intel climbed nearly 5%, both riding the continued semiconductor enthusiasm. Tesla fell more than 5%, and ASML dropped over 3%, reminding us that even in a strong tape, individual names can still get hit on company-specific news. Among the most active names, NVIDIA held near its highs, while Palantir and Micron also saw heavy volume as investors continue to rotate into AI infrastructure plays. The bigger picture story today is the transition at the Federal Reserve. Kevin Warsh was confirmed as the next chair in one of the most divisive votes in modern history, and outgoing Governor Stephen Moran resigned while throwing his support behind the new leadership. Bond markets are already pricing in the possibility that the Fed may need to shift away from its easing bias sooner than expected, with the 30-year Treasury yield pushing back toward 5%. At the same time, traders on prediction markets are assigning nearly a 40% chance of stagflation by the end of 2026. Highlighting the tension between persistent inflation pressures and growth concerns. On the geopolitical front, President Trump's meetings with Chinese leadership in Beijing are drawing heavy attention, with investors hoping for stabilization in trade and tech relations that could ease some of the supply chain risks hanging over the AI build-out. Turning to earnings, this week features a busy slate, including several notable names that could move the tape. You can find exclusive earnings transcript summaries on MarketSnap. On the sector front, industrials and consumer cyclicals led the week, while healthcare lagged, showing that the market is still favoring growth-oriented areas tied to the AI theme. Looking at the strongest large-cap performers over the past week, names like Garmin and Lumentum posted double-digit gains, underscoring how quickly momentum can shift into specific themes. On the flip side, several high-profile names gave back ground, reminding long-term investors that even in a bull market, selectivity matters. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in. Stay engaged with our daily summaries and in-depth SWOT analyses to keep your long-term strategy sharp.